Alright, I'm starting a brand new series where we will be analyzing real-time asteroid data using the NASA Scout API. This API is used to detect near-Earth objects, and it creates data sets much like this here. So as you can see, we have our object or object name, the number of observations, the arc, and several other features that I'm not going to go into quite yet. The purpose of this video is just to make a simple data pipeline using Amazon Web Services. So speaking of that, we'll be using Kinesis Firehose to make our data delivery stream. In order to do this, we will do create delivery stream. We'll call it NASA data hose 02 direct put, and we won't have any AWS Lambda transformations or converting our records. Just keep it as a default. And then we're going to use an S3 bucket as our destination. So we're going to choose NASA data 01. Right. And then buffer size, or the S3 buffer conditions. These are the conditions that are met in order to transfer our data through our Kinesis Firehose. So we have our buffer size. Once the data reaches a certain size, such as 5 MB, it will be transferred through our data hose, and it will be dropped off at our S3 bucket. Or if it just sits inside of our Kinesis Firehose for 300 seconds, it will then be transferred. In this case, we'll be using 60 seconds for this video because that's the fastest time that we can use. And in the compression and encryption part of our data pipeline, we'll be using a zip file, which is, seems pretty standard. Keep everything else at defaults, and you're going to want to create an IAM role for this. I'll be using this one here that I made previously. Once that is finished, we'll do create delivery stream. It's going to take a few minutes to make. So this fire hose that we're making now is going to be delivered to this S3 bucket right here. Right now there's nothing in it, but by the time this is done and it's working, it will be delivering objects to here. So let me pull up the SDK real quick. So this class here is used to access our NASA Scout API. We have our URL here, and this is how we initialize it inside our constructor, so we can access it for other methods here and here. What this is used is for extracting data from our API. Here we have a simple GET request, and here we convert our response into a JSON format. Then we use JSON.dump_s to convert that into a string, and then we convert it into the UTF-8 format. We then return it to where it is called in that format. Now we're going to go back to our stream here. It seems to be working. Since it actually does take a few minutes to run the stream and transfer the data to our S3 bucket, we're just gonna run it first, and then I'll explain while it is processing. So this is stream. Yeah, that seems to be working. So as you can see, we got our it's from the NASA Scout API, and our last run, which is 2020 1120, 2243. All right, it looks like it's from the, it looks like we're using the right data here. So now that we are looking at our firehose script, I'm just going to explain how this thing works. Here is our constructor method where we call our Boto3 client. We are then using the firehose service. In the region name is US East 1. We then need to use these keys here, the AWS access key ID and the AWS secret access key. You can actually configure these in your AWS CLI, or you can just do it here. But you do have to do one of those options in order to run the Boto3 module in your command line. We then set equal to this firehose client, and then we initialize it so we can use it for our other methods. We then, this is probably the most important method here, the one that we then call in our main function. It is the add to stream method. So first we have our firehose client being called, and then we then use our put record method, which will call a delivery stream, which is NASA data hose 2, and then we put a record that is of a data, and we use the JSON entry that we passed into this method to put into the delivery stream. That is being called over here. Notice how this is the same JSON entry that we returned from our data fetch access API method. So now that that explains how that works, we're going to go back to our S3 bucket and gonna reload this. And we're gonna go check inside. Make sure it's in there. So as you can see, it looks like we have NASA data host 02. We have the date that we transferred our data, and we also have a certain file name. So this looks pretty good. Let's try and download it to make sure that we have the right one. Let's see here. Let's pull this up. All right. We're gonna move NASA data hose. Move that one. What's going on? MV data hose 2. I'll understand what's going on. We're going to move that back, projects, and then it's asteroid detection. So now that we have that move over there, we're going to go back to our NASA asteroid detection thing here. And then as you can see, we have our file there. Let's unzip that. So this is our uncompressed file. Let's take a look into that and see what it says. So as you can see here, count, scout, API 2020, 1120, 2243. So this is the same data that we use for our from our API. Yeah, this is the same data that we're using here. So this stream seems to be working, and the next video will be using Lambda functions to transform our data, and we may even be using Splunk to do some real-time analytics. Thank you for watching the video, and I will see you next time.